Early in the morning of July 28, 1981, 3 men entered through the back door of a small Catholic mission in Guatemala. They struggled with the parish priest, shot him to death, and disappeared into the night. To the soldiers, he was just one more casualty in a long and bloody civil war. But he was far more. The priest from Okarche, Oklahoma was a kind, selfless man who knew he was in danger, but said, "The shepherd must not run." Born an Oklahoma farm boy, he is the first American-born Catholic martyr. 20,000 people gathered in Oklahoma City to celebrate his beatification, which is one of the final steps towards sainthood. Father Stanley Rother is an Oklahoma martyr. In the early 1960s, Pope St. John XXIII asked churches of North America to send assistance and establish missions in Central America. The Diocese of Oklahoma City and Tulsa established a mission in Santiago Atitlan in Guatemala, a poor village high in the mountains. A few years after he was ordained, Father Stanley accepted an invitation to join the mission where he would find his life's calling.
He was a farm boy, and he was very comfortable with manual labor, and that was what was required. It was a very, very poor village, and he had to be willing to get his hands dirty with his people. But he also had a real heart for the gospel and serving the people to help build up their faith.
How did the people take to him? He was their Savior. He was their Savior. They gave him a name. The name they gave him was the closest that they could get to Stanley by translating it into Sutahil. And it was Aplas. Capital A, apostrophe, capital P-L-A-S, Aplas. And that was his name.
Because unlike other missionaries, he did not come in with a great big program to try to change everything. That he could say Mass in the Sutahil language, which other priests before him were not able to do.
Yeah, well, he became a native. You know, in not only in his clothing, he wore it until the elbows were sticking out, and his shoes were cobbled over. He became a Sutahil Indian.
Father Stan used his experience to improve farming techniques. He helped establish a local Catholic radio station that they could use to broadcast religious programs. They established a school to help educate the children, and they started a medical clinic.
He had personally witnessed the kidnapping of people from the church property, taken away in an army jeep, and their bodies tortured almost beyond recognition. He said to me, if they ever come for me, they would never be able to take me away like that. He said, I would resist until they had to kill me. Now, he said this in the summer of 1980, so this is a year before his death. But he knew that this was a possibility, and he had already resolved in his mind what this would mean for him. That was, for me, probably the most chilling thing I ever heard him say.
The last visit we ever had was just a few weeks, actually, before he was killed. And it was at that time he desperately wanted to go back to Guatemala, but he was advised not to go back. It was dangerous. He should not put himself in that position. But what he did, he said he belongs with his people. And so I gave him a blessing. He left for Guatemala.
The men who murdered Father Rother have never been caught. Whoever they were, and whatever they hoped to accomplish, they failed. Father Stanley Rother is alive in the village of Santiago Atitlan. His friends and family say they are excited not just for the church in Oklahoma, but for all the people of Oklahoma, that we have such a robust, heroic figure to give thanks to God for his generosity, his dedication, and for what we can learn from the life and death of Father Stanley Rother, this Oklahoma martyr.